I constantly thank myself for making a decision to start a business online in my 20s. It was probably one of the best decisions I could have made. I went from being a student, not really making any money, not really knowing what I want to do with life, having a constant anxiety where I didn't know what my degree is going to be used for, what career I want to pursue, what jobs I want to work in, to basically being able to travel, make online money, being able to work from anywhere and everywhere, being my own boss, working from my couch. I have no schedule. I can just, if I decide to work today, I will work today. But in today's video, I want to be able to kind of talk about the not so attractive stuff, right? Whilst everything here sounds nice, no one really tells you the full story of it all, right? And there's a lot more things that I wish I have known before I kind of dive deep into the whole business game. So what I want to do today in this video, I want to show you an unfiltered look behind starting an online business in your 20s by yourself, right? The not so attractive things that kind of goes on between the different stages of your journey. Now, a quick disclaimer on why I'm making this video. It's not meant to discourage you in any way possible, right? Starting an online business, again, was one of the best decisions I could have made for myself in my 20s. But what I want to do is actually just give you, the different things you can expect from starting an online business. And I kind of want to prepare you with this video. So again, this is no way in shape or form meant to discourage you. Again, this is probably one of the best decisions I personally made. And I just want to go through a more of an unfiltered look into what it's like being a business owner at different stages of your journey. We're going to look at 5 different things from when you're making $0 to $5K per month, and then how it is when you're making 5 to 10K per month, and then how it is when you're making good money. You're pretty well off at that stage, 10 to 20K per month plus. So starting off 0 to 5K per month, what I can say, this is more of a mental battle than anything else, right? This is kind of where your brain starts to kind of have like a fear of the unknown, right? And it tries to stop you from actually diving into that unknown, right? The biggest unknown is the skill gap, right? When you're starting out kind of fresh, right, you have no skills and you probably don't even know what it is that you're actually doing, right? So you might constantly ask yourself, what the fuck am I doing? So business is an umbrella of skills that you have to master, right, in order to kind of get to that 5K per month mark. You have to be able to be good at these things right here to make it all work for you at the start, right? Product, what are you actually selling? Marketing, how can you position yourself and how can you create an offer around your product? Sales, right, speaking to humans, right? How can you go about speaking to people, right, and truly connecting with them on an emotional level? And then also developing your product, developing your business and your systems, how to learn from feedback, right? These are the 4 core things that you don't need to become a master in at the start, but you need to be, just be sufficiently good enough to kind of get this whole thing up and running. Basically, you're going to have to do a lot of research, right, and gain a lot of experience before you kind of become semi-good at each of these things, right? And when you're kind of faced with an idea of that you have to learn a lot, kind of jumping into this whole thing, you have to ask yourself basically, how bad do you want it, right? Because people might think that they want it bad, but when it comes to actually, doing the work and doing the heavy lifting at the start, some people might realize that this is not for them, right? So you got to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Everything and everyone will be against you, at least what it will feel like, right? Your ego, your brain, your family, your friends, everyone is going to be against you jumping into an online business venture, right? As I said at the start or earlier on, your brain is not yet used to the unknown, so it will try to prevent you from doing it, right? AKA it will signal, right, that you are about to jump into danger. The reason why it thinks it's danger is because it doesn't know it yet, right? So it's not comfortable with the unknown, right? And simply doing this to get rich quick is not really sustainable, right? As it does take time to see success. So this is why you have to ask yourself, especially when you're kind of getting over that skill gap, is how bad do you want it? Because you're going to have a lot of people going against you. You're going to have your brain going against you, your ego is going to go against you as well. So you have to be able to fight all of these things, right? And the only way you're able to fight all these things is basically how bad you actually want it, right? Getting rich quick, that's not a reason to starting an online business. Trust me, it's not really sustainable. If you have a get rich quick mindset, I would suggest really just trying to journal down and just really trying to uncover the deeper meaning behind why you want to start an online business, because getting rich quick, it's nice, but it's not sustainable reason. So some of the solutions that helped me personally at the start of my journey, when I was making $0 a month with my agency. The first thing is becoming a sponge to information, right? The first 2 months I was only learning, right? I had a course and I was going through that course, but I wasn't really just going through that course. I was actually trying to apply the things I learned in that course. And then I would also go to other resources like YouTube, different communities and stuff. And then I'll try to expand my knowledge or my ideas around a particular topic. So I basically just absorbed as much information as possible, because basically it's like trying to download a new software to your brain, right? So you gotta be updated with the most recent software before you actually start operating the business. The second thing is setting realistic expectations, right? It will take some time. I made a lot of mistakes, right? Throughout my journey, I made a lot of mistakes, but through these mistakes, I also got better, right? You're gonna be making mistakes. It's going to take a lot of time. So you gotta be able to set yourself some realistic expectations, right? Don't think it's gonna be super easy, rainbows and butterflies, right? If it was simple, then everyone would be able to do it, right? So this is why kind of the whole entrepreneurial route, is not really for everybody, because it does take time. You are going to fail, you are going to make mistakes, but each of these failures, each of these mistakes, what you got to understand is that these are necessary for you to basically level up and move on to the next stage of your journey. Number 3, AI and YouTube is going to be your best friend, right? If you have a course right now on starting a business or any particular course, follow that course, right? And then use AI and YouTube to again expand your knowledge on whatever topic you're kind of studying about. YouTube has tons of free information, right? I've used YouTube a lot in my beginning stages, and right now I still to this day use YouTube. I still use AI to basically gain more information. Number 4, you have to be stubborn, right? You have to have full conviction that once you cross the gap, the skill gap, that you will make it, right? No matter what anybody says, no matter what your brain says to you, no matter anything that happens in the external, internally, you gotta believe in yourself, right? You gotta have full conviction that once you learn all these skills and you cross that skill gap, you will be able to make it good with your business. The third thing here is, the beginner stages. It's a bit of an awkward starting stage that everyone has to go through. Again, if your goal is to just get rich quick, don't start a business, right? This is where you are going to be putting in the time grind, right? Sort of the beginner stages, meaning you will be doing things you don't like to later do the things you like, right? So time management here is going to be super important, as you don't want to be wasting your time on unnecessary things that don't move the needle forward, right? It will take you hours and hours of actual work that moves the needle forward before you actually start making money. So at sort of these beginner stages, again, you are learning these skills, you're fighting mentally with yourself, you're fighting with other people, right? You're going through this awkward stage that everyone has to, kind of go through. You have full conviction that, you will be able to make it. And you're going to be putting a lot of, hours into making this work, right? Again, it's not a very simple thing, where you can only work like, 2 hours a week on this. You are going to have to try and learn time management to be able to dedicate good enough hours to your business to start perfecting the craft. So some of the things that you should be working on, again, this is my suggestions for my personal journey when I was in the beginning stages. In the morning, right, prospecting, tracking all your data, right? Super important that you start tracking data almost immediately with anything that you do, right? Even if you're not getting any outcomes, you're still tracking data. I've learned this later on, sort of in my stages, of how important data actually is to be able to drive a business. So super important that you start off with your business already tracking every single thing. Afternoon, more prospecting, more sales, refining your offer through feedback. Evening, studying more, connecting with other people, right? So your first goal is to get money in, and the only way to get money in is by getting eyeballs to your offer. And a good offer is created through iterations, and iterations only happen after you get eyeballs, right? And sales only happens once an offer has been iterated enough times that people just buy. Right, so it's gonna be awkward and cringe this stage. Embrace it and always remind yourself, how bad do you want it and why do you want it, right? Everything's going to be on you, right? You're gonna be very lonely, sort of at the early stages of your business. You're gonna be wearing all of the hats. You have to become self-aware here. You have to be able to self-validate yourself, and it's going to be on you to do everything at the start, which is a blessing and a curse, right? So kind of my suggestions to sort of the whole loner thing is find a mentor, right? Free or paid. Find someone that does what you're currently doing. They don't have to be a multi-millionaire. They just have to be a couple steps ahead of you, right? Reach out to people, find a mentor. If you can, pay for a mentor. At the starting stages, I had my first ever mentor that taught me the whole sort of outbound, space system, the cold emails, and that was probably one of the best investments I've ever made for my business, right? Because it just kind of sped up my whole entire process, right? The mentor was able to validate my ideas, was able to tell me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and it just kind of sped everything up. Join communities on Discord, school, right? School is growing. Go out there, try to look for communities. There's low ticket communities that you can join into. There's free communities that you can join into. You can join Amplify. We have a free community that you can join through the link in the description below, right? Connect with people, right? Just connect with people. It might sound cringe to you to connect with people, but actually start messaging people, start engaging in these communities, and trust me, over time you'll be able to find your circle of, I guess, online business friends that you'll be able to bounce ideas back and forth with them. Find a business friend, right? Again, you can also pay. There's specific communities that connect you with 3 other online business owners in your area. It's always best to know someone physically, so you can find those sort of communities. I think it's like $5 subscription a month, but every single month they connect you with 2-3 other people that are in your area that are also into the whole online business space. If not, then find someone online, right? I have tons of people I talk to online on a daily basis that I would consider, my business friends. Post content on X or Twitter, right? X or Twitter is super easy to grow on. You can meet a lot of good people in the space as well. So go on Twitter, start posting content about your entire journey, right? Over time, you're going to get into this whole money Twitter sort of space where you'll be able to reach out directly to different founders, different business owners, and basically connect with them. And lastly, for that 0 to 5K per month stage, you are in for a roller coaster of emotions and self-doubt. But in my honest opinion, I really enjoy the roller coaster of emotions that comes with running an online business. I feel like it just makes everything fun. Your brain, right, at this stage will start coming up with the craziest reasons not to pursue this, meaning you'll get a lot of self-doubt. One day you might wake up, you're like, okay, I'm on this, you're super motivated. The next day, your brain's gonna be like, okay, this is not working, you should not be pursuing this or wasting your time on this. There's gonna be a lot of self-doubt. I suggest don't listen to that. Again, it's just your brain trying to come up with the craziest reasons not to pursue this, because it's a whole new area for your brain as well, and our brains just hate the whole new area stuff. So try to ignore that self-doubt. You will try to be a perfectionist. Don't be, right? Don't try to be a perfectionist in anything. I'd rather have you take action than trying to perfect something. One rule that I stick by is whenever I have a particular project I'm working on, or a task, I just jump right into it. I don't try to plan it. as much. I just jump into it, try to do it. If it's not perfect, I don't care. Right? I'm just gonna iterate it later on, but the most important thing is to just start. You're gonna be scared of failure. That's totally normal. Even the stages when you're making 10K, 20K, 30K, 50K per month, people still are scared of, what if this whole thing just crashes? Like, what if I'm gonna lose all my money, right? Or I'm gonna lose my business? That's totally normal. Fear of failure hits everyone in the online business space, so you're not alone, or you're not gonna be alone in this. Some solutions for this sort of stage is learn to detach yourself emotionally from your business. Look at your business as more of a separate entity to you, right? Don't try to bring your personal life, your emotions into your business. When you have a business, approach it with a logical sort of mind, right? Don't tie in your emotions into it. Don't deep it. Trust me, people tend to overcomplicate this whole business stuff when it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. I did it for the first year of my business, where I just deeped everything. I would take everything so serious, but then as time went on, I learned that it's not that deep. Right? No one knows what they're doing, right? So don't take it too seriously, honestly. Don't compare yourself to others. This is the biggest thing with dealing with emotional stress. When you do compare yourself to others, that just brings negativity, right? It doesn't motivate you at all. You will get a lot of self-doubt. Perfectionism will come into play. Fear of failure will come into play. So again, try not to compare yourself to others, right? When you watch YouTube videos of other people that are more successful than you, when you're on Instagram or social media, looking at all these kids, all these people that are making so much money, try to take inspiration from them. Try to understand why they're making a lot of money or why they are ahead of you, not thinking in terms of why am I not right there yet, right? Why am I not seeing success as they are seeing success? Instead, look beneath the layers and try to understand, what they've done to get to that point, and try to, take inspiration from it. Last thing of dealing with the emotional stress is meditate, right? Not for spirituality, but to be able to quiet down your mind, right? With business, things will be thrown at you, right? And you need to be able to learn how to react to them, right? And the way we react to stuff, right? Or the way personally I react to stuff in business is anytime something happens, I don't just try and react to it as soon as possible. I take a deep breath, right? Try to calm down, and I try to approach it logically, right? Again, detach your emotions from your business. So 5 to 10K per month, and it's getting serious at this point. You're making pretty good money for yourself. Here is where decisions start to come into play, right? Every decision that you make has importance to the direction of the business, right? And decision fatigue is going to get real at this 5 to 10K per month stage. Also, not knowing if what you're doing now is actually the right way to do it, right? You're gonna doubt yourself a lot. You're gonna struggle to make a decision on what you should actually pursue or what direction you should take your business in. You're gonna have to bring your first team member, right? You have to teach them, you have to answer the questions a lot. At this stage, you also don't really have standard operating procedures built out for different scenarios. So again, this is where this whole decision fatigue starts to come into play, where you're making good money. You got that initial proof of concept, but now you have to solidify that proof of concept by understanding how to make the right decisions. So at this stage, I want you to start building standard operating procedures. Literally just track every single thing that you're doing within your business and build an SOP around it. I literally have a whole library of SOPs that anytime something happens, I know exactly how to make a decision, right? I don't think, I just refer to my SOPs. Anytime there's a problem, I have an SOP for it. Have internal reviews scheduled with yourself. Don't ask everyone for their opinions. No one knows their business as much as you do, right? So asking for external opinions is kind of pointless. Have 2 people that you trust and know, right? That can give you good opinions, but apart from that, don't ask anyone else. Look in the past and see what worked, right? And what didn't work. Eliminate what didn't work and do more of what actually worked. So you gotta start becoming lean here, right? At this stage of the business. This stage is kind of where you start to figure out, how to avoid bad decisions, and you start bringing in some structure to your business. Avoiding bad decisions is a really good skill to possess. So the most successful entrepreneurs, they don't always, make the best decisions, but they try to minimize the amount of bad decisions they make. You also got to be patient, right? At this 5-10K per month sort of mark. Once you make some money, it becomes easy to fall into the trap of self-comparison and just wanting more and more quicker, right? You got that proof of concept. You kind of prove to yourself that you can do it, but now your brain's like, oh, I want more and more and more and more quicker, right? Good things don't happen overnight. Getting rich quick again is not something that's real. Results are always going to be delayed. Something you do this month, might only come into fruition in 2 months, 3 months time. So you gotta be patient with seeing results. You can only control your inputs and not outputs, and it seems like everyone else is growing quicker than you. So at this stage, when you're becoming impatient, focus on doing your best, and that's it, right? Don't think about outcomes constantly. When I was making like 10K a month, I was very impatient. I wanted to scale to 50, 100K per month, and I was looking at all these people on YouTube, and I was like, how are they doing it so quicker? What am I missing? I want to get there, super quick. So I would fall into the trap of like outcome thinking. And when you are in the mindset of outcome thinking, this is where stuff gets bad, right? Because you start making bad decisions. So focus on your inputs, focus on your processes. Don't think about outcomes. Throw outcomes away out of the window, right? Set boundaries with yourself as well. Yes, grinding is important, but you also want to avoid burning out. You got to be able to outsource, delegate, and automate, and you should also have scheduled work blocks. Again, a lot of people think I need to grind 10-hour days, 15-hour days, 20-hour days. That's true at the start, especially, but once you start making pretty good money, you are able to afford to outsource, delegate, and automate. So you got to start protecting sort of your time. You got to start respecting your boundaries a lot more as well if you don't want to burn out in the long run. This is kind of also where systems come into place, removing yourself from the process. So different aspects of your business should be able to operate without you being part of that process, right? You should have automated outbound or sales process, automated fulfillment, client communications should be automated, sales call, sales process should be automated as well. At this stage, you gotta become more of an operator rather than an executor, right? So here's where you start to kind of lay the bricks and the early stage foundations of how your business runs. So in the future, it's easier to scale. Become an operator, not an executor of your business. It can be very hard to step out of the day-to-day of the business, but it's super important to be able to start doing that. So make systems, optimize systems, and you're gonna make a lot more money, right? Let go of control and always ask yourself, how can this process run without needing my input? Now, the last stages where you're making money, but at what cost? The 10 to 20K per month mark, right? And this is the point where business is real, right? This is the point where you're financially comfortable, you've paid all your bills, you're able to, live fairly decently. But there's obviously some downsides to that as well. First, being pressure. Like, what did I actually just build, and did I actually build this? So there's going to be a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of constant fear, like, what if it fails? Right? What if it all comes crashing down? You will feel like you have to constantly put out fires and just maintain the business. You have that sort of anxiety, that pressure that you're working with clients and customers. You want them to succeed with whatever your product you have. So there's a lot of pressure that you take on from other people as well. Also pressure now that you have a 6-figure business, right? It's not a thing a lot of people can do. With running a 6-figure business also comes a lot of pressure. Some of the things I can suggest is keep savings in the business and do not go below that, right? So have at least $10,000 in your bank, and that's going to be your threshold, right? If you hit that 10K sort of in the bank threshold, you're not allowed to spend anything more than that, right? Like that's the 10K is your zero basically. So make a rule for yourself that I'm not gonna spend my $10,000 in savings. If I reach that, that basically means I've hit zero, right? Because if you make the mistake of like digging into your savings and you just kind of burn all your savings, then you're gonna come crashing down. So just always keep savings in the business, have a threshold, and do not go below that threshold. Do your best, right? Know that you're doing your best and just let go. Let outcomes be outcomes. No one can control the future. No one can control what's gonna actually happen. So don't worry about it. Just focus on doing what's best. Do your best work. Wake up. Do everything that you need to do and just let go. Another thing you gotta understand is you're not the business, right? You are a separate individual. You're not the business, right? Because a lot of times when we have pressures in business or work, we tend to bring it over to our individual self. And that's not really a good thing, because then once you stop working and you go and do whatever other things you're doing in your life, you're going to bring that business pressure with you. And that's, it's not really sustainable. Also ground yourself from time to time. And what I mean by grounding is coming back to the present. Obviously making 10, 20K per month plus, you're kind of floating up in the air most of the times with all that pressure, with all the anxiety, with all the hope and dreams and the realization that stuff is actually working out for you now. Try to ground yourself, right? Try to come back down, try to kind of stay in the present moment. Not ready, right? Not being ready of being an actual CEO, right? You are a founder now, accept it now. You are actually running a real business. So at this point, you gotta detach yourself from doing the day-to-day task. It might be hard, right? You spend all this time working on your business and now you have to actually detach yourself from this. It's hard, but you gotta do it. So just because you can do something doesn't mean you should be doing it, right? As a CEO, you again have to become an operator of the business rather than an executor. You should have people, team members that kind of do the stuff for you, and you oversee the entire process and you just make sure everything's running smoothly, right? You are a CEO, accept it now. I know you're not ready, right? You haven't been trained on how to run a business, but this some things that might help you out. As a CEO, you gotta be able to shift into the long-term vision tasks, right? What's actually going to grow the business in the long run, and you're gonna have to focus on these tasks only. Delegate or outsource your short-term tasks, and you as a CEO just do your long-term vision tasks. You constantly have to think how to grow the business. You have to ponder a lot, right? At this stage, you have to go outside, go on a walk, go in the cafe shop, and just ponder and think on how to grow the business. You have to protect your mental energy and time here. You have to develop hiring skills. You also need good systems at this point, and you also can leverage capital plays, right? You are a CEO, you have money, you are able to spend that money to get better outcomes or to protect your mental energy and time or to grow the business or get better systems. So just leverage those capital plays, right? Don't be scared to spend money to make more money. Right, and last thing is taking care of yourself, right? You are the biggest asset to the business, right? Nothing can replace you. You are the biggest asset. So it's going to be hard to set boundaries for yourself, right? And no one's going to do that for you. And if you burn out as a business owner, that tends to, lead you down to like a very sort of negative road. Burnout is not a good thing. Don't sacrifice your mental energy and your effort, just to grind and be in that sort of grind mindset. Because if you do burn out as the biggest asset to the business, guess what happens to your business, right? It gets burnt out as well. So you got to understand your limits here, and you got to do a lot of inner work to be able to understand your limits. Some suggestions I could give you: right? Determine your ideal working time and just block out your schedule. And when you're outside that working time, just don't work anymore. Use money to your advantage, right? If a task can be delegated or you can pay for it, then do it. You have money to spend, just do it. And stop working for the sake of making more money. Having a mindset of like, we never have enough can lead to burning out and being unhappy. So 10 to 20K per month, you're making pretty good money. Remove sort of the idea like we never have enough, I need to make more, because that's going to lead you to working more. And it's not even going to lead you to working more on like the good stuff. It would just lead you to working more in general, which can lead to burnout and just being unhappy. Also, try to diversify your identity. Don't be just your business. At some point that was my business, that's my only personality. But recently, I'm trying to basically understand my identity a bit more, like who I am outside of my business. It's very common for entrepreneurs to identify directly with their business because, I understand this is what you do most of the hours throughout your day, but, you gotta have another identity outside your business. You can't just bring your sort of business identity everywhere you go, if it's not the business. So try to diversify, try to find hobbies. Whenever you go out with your friends, just don't bring your business mindset into it. Leave the business stuff at home, trust me. It's going to do you a lot of good. So yeah, this has been the different sort of realistic takes on the different stages of running a business from $0 up the way to 10, 20K per month, and what you can kind of expect. So I hope this video set some expectations. I hope you can come back to this video whenever you are at these different stages and have it as a reminder for yourself. But yeah, just do what you gotta do. Start the business, start putting in the work. Whatever stage you were in, apply the things that I went over in today's video. And I'm wishing you a lot of success with whatever it is that you're pursuing. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, make sure to comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you found value, if you like watching me, then maybe subscribe. But yeah, apart from that, I will see you guys on the next video.